Alrighty guys, we're back for Equipment Affinity, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have 4 Leyline Axe, 4 mana, Artifact Equipment. If this card is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Cool stuff. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Oh my goodness. And then equip is 3, so actually pretty steep for the equip cost. But maybe we'll make it cost a little bit less with like Bladehold War-Whip, for example. 3 mana equipment, probably the most important equipment in here, by the way. Has 4 Mirrodin, so when it comes in, you attach it to a 2/2 token Rebel. And equip abilities you activate of other equipment cost 1 less to activate. Nice. The equipped creature has double strike. Nice. And then the equip cost is very steep at 3, a red, and a white. Okay. So another very important card in here is actually going to be Blacksmith's Talent. All 4 of them making the cut this time around. It's enchantment class. The first ability on this class, or level 1, I should say, is when it enters, you create a colorless equipment artifact token named Sword. Okay. With equipped creature gets +1, and the equip cost is 2. So not the greatest equipment, but at least it comes in with equipment because I called it Equipment Affinity for a reason. We'll go over that in just a second. Level 2 of this is 2 and a red at the beginning of combat on your turn. Attach target equipment you control to up to 1 target creature you control. That's pretty good, dude. When we have steep costs like Bladehold War-Whip being 5, or Leyline being 3, or Chainsaw being 3 as well. Chainsaw in here, make the cut as a 2 of a little bit of removal, right? So yeah, pretty steep equipment cost. Level 2 of Blacksmith's Talent should really come in handy. Level 3 is just ridiculous because for 3 and a red, during your turn, equipped creatures you control have double strike and haste. That's pretty cool, man. Honestly, though, I don't know how often we actually get this to level 3. Rather than just paying our mana to do other things. How about going over some of that affinity? We have a top end here. All 4 of these Oxidda Finishers. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's a 7 mana, 7/5 affinity for equipment, so it costs 1 less to cast for each equipment you control. It also has trample, guys. I don't think it's going to be unheard of at all in here. To get this down to 3 mana, there's going to be some games where the game goes on long enough where it's just double red for a 7/5 with trample. Now, I know there's a lot of removal packed into standard. So yes, it is as simple as just like them dropping removal on it, or we pass the turn and they drop the board wipe and we cry ourselves to sleep. But we have a lot of ways to give haste to these big old finishers in here, like Swiftfoot Boots and Lavaspur Boots as well. All 4 of each of these. Swiftfoot Boots is a 2 mana. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste. The equip cost is 1. So, of course, hexproof is really going to come in handy, but the equip cost being 1 is actually insane because of how well it pairs with that Bladehold War-Whip. And similar concept to Lavaspur Boots. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has haste. Okay, and ward 1. Okay, and the equip cost, of course, is 1. Yeah, not half bad, huh? Other affinity cards, the top end again, Nahiri, Forged in Fury, 6 mana, 5/4 affinity for equipment. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. You may cast equipment spells this way without paying their mana cost. That is pretty darn cool, man. Other creatures packed in, we have a 1 of Astor, Bearer of Blades. Cool stuff. We also have more affinity for equipment cards packed in. Rebel Salvo making the cut. More removal, going to be pretty important. 5 damage, hits a lot. I don't know how often it's going to be important to have that permanent lose indestructible, but we'll see. You never know. Other equipment packed in. I have a couple Barbed Batterfist. Okay, the 4 Mirrodin ability is really what we're looking at. We want as many equipments as possible to work with all the affinity, but we also need creatures hitting the board too. So yeah, and that's also why all 4 Hexgold Halberds actually made the cut too. This could probably be, like, if you want 2 halberds instead of the 2 batterfists, and then you just go up the 4 of these instead, you could probably do that. It'd probably be fine. I'm just opting for first strike and trample being a little bit more important, I think. Also, Kadeen made the cut as a 1 of. It should be fine. The mana base guys, we got some fast lands. Vantage, Forge making the cut as a 4 of. We do have 2 Restless Bivouacs because it's just one of those deck lists where I think Restless Bivouac is going to come in handy. Also, Mirrex. Okay, cool. That's it. How much mana is that? That's 21 land. That should be fine and dandy. Honorable mentions, guys. This was important. I did not want to go the Valiant route this time. I wanted to do something completely different with equipment, so that's why Heartfire Hero and all of his little buddies did not make the cut this time. Honorable mention for a very good reason, right? All right, guys, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked and see how we do. We'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I think it's going to be super janky, dude. I think we're in danger, bro. But we'll see, we'll see. Okay. I'm going to keep it. Let's do this, man. So, of course, our opener, we'd love to see some of the Leyline Axe, but this is also fine and dandy. I'm going to go for the Batterfist for the turn over the Halberd this time round. Nice little 3-1 out there. The Finisher's 6 mana. We're almost there, guys. Oh, Amalia. Okay, Lavaspur Boots isn't bad. Oh, it's just going to be Chainsaw for the turn, though. We got to take care of Amalia before it gets out of hand. Pay the 3 life. And Amalia really does get out of hand very, very fast. So whenever they gain life, it explores. It's a pretty good ability, dude. 3rd mana is great. We have an option. We could go Swiftfoot Boots, go Hexproof. They got a great trade. Lavaspur Boots go +1. It's still a great trade. What am I saying? Also could equip Chainsaw. I think we just play as much as possible for the turn and we just don't swing. Actually, they don't know what this last card is. We should have swung beforehand. They do accept that trade, though. Easy peasy. But what happens here? Chainsaw gets an extra 1, and we don't lose the enchantment, which is actually pretty significant. Because now, Oxidda Finisher, or however we want to pronounce this, right? It's 3 mana, dude. 3 mana is no joke. We're about to get it down to 2 mana if we play Swiftfoot Boots first. If we see mana off the top, for example, we'd want to start with the boots. But we're not going to have a way to give it haste right now. That could be a problem. Amalia number 2. Starscape Cleric. It is going to be mana off the top. So instead of going Swiftfoot Boots, we should give it haste off the Lavaspur Boots, right? Based on what's on the board right now. That's totally fine. 3 mana Finisher. That's insane. That's cool, man. We're going for the swing, too. Oh, first strike. It's not a trade opponent. That's a really good block for us. Okay, they took it back. Oh, they decide they don't want to take the 2. Chainsaw powers up a little bit. Going down to 8. Holy cow, dude. Dude, another Finisher off the top. The opponent's in danger. We have to anticipate spot removal here, I would say. Sheltered by Ghosts is what it's looking like. The way... No, Dewdrop Cure. Wow, look at that. That's cool, man. Back up to 8. The opponent's in this. Anyways, this deck list looks like they're running Sheltered by Ghosts. You know what I mean? Mana. So, well, first of all, we'll play the tapped land. I'm pretty sure we go all into the Finisher because of the trample. Maybe like all in. Yeah. Right? All into the Finisher. Full swing to you. They chump. They double block. That's the first strike actually powers up. So we get 9 exactly thanks to the block. But they had to block. That's hilarious, dude. Oh my goodness. They had to block. They like so the first strike just really helped us out there thanks to the chainsaw ability. That's hilarious, man. That's good. That felt great. But a little bit of an off-meta deck from the opponent too, but that Dewdrop Cure was something else. That was really cool, dude. The problem is having a 7/5 trample that early in the game, and we gave it haste. Huh. Well, if it keeps doing that, then I'll feel bad for calling it super janky, you know what I mean? Maybe we landed on something cool here, but I don't think it's going to keep doing that, but we'll see, we'll see. Okay, opponent goes first. Leyline's coming down, turn to Swiftfoot Boots. Salvo will be 1 at that point. Salvo will be 2 if we need early removal since Leyline's hitting. So yeah, we tried this, right? Not a lot of creatures outside of that, but... Okay. Swiftfoot Boots number 3, because why not? Golgari. Ew. Ew. What kind of Golgari, though? It could be fun. Oh. The evil kind of Golgari. You monster opponent. My Leyline Axe. Finally got to play with a Leyline Axe on turn 1. Now we'll see it more today. We got all 4 of them packed in, dude. It's a great chance of seeing it in our opener, right? Okay, Overlord's a problem. At that point, though, pretty much everything's a problem. Okay, Battlefield Forge, Swiftfoot Boots. Rebel Salvo is 1 mana. See what we can clean up for 5. Overlord would be 1. Not gonna be, it's gonna be maybe another impending Overlord. Maelstrom, oh no, Maelstrom Pulse takes care of both Swiftfoot Boots. Dude, it really is the evil version of Golgari. Opponent, why? We still have Rebel Salvo open here if they're gonna go full-blown Overlord, but that does help them. That's brutal, dude. Really great removal early on here for the opponent. Got us very far away from dropping the finishers by taking care of 2 enchantments for the price of 1. So we should probably pop the Ashiok, right? Right, yes. Yes, we should, but then Overlord is looming over us too. We're in danger, man. We're in big, big danger. It's the 4th Swiftfoot Boots. I'll tell you what, dude. If all 4 of them were on the board, though, that actually wouldn't have been too bad. Although we still wouldn't have been able to play Finisher for the turn. Opponent. My heart. My heart, opponent. How could you? Oh no, oh no. Guys, this isn't going to be unheard of. We do see a lot of Golgari, so we are seeing a lot more of this Pulse card too. I bet it's a 2 of in the opponent's deck. I do think that they saw both of them. But you never know, they could be rocking more of these as well. Terra Sunder is a card that we see often in Golgari too, so yeah, this matchup is not going to be unheard of, so I guess at that point, be prepared to get picked apart. Just like we did here. Aww. So much of this would have been so cool if we could have kept some of our not enchantments, our equipment on the board. Ah, jeez, bro. So we played all 4 Swiftfoot Boots and we had a Leyline Axe. So the opponent successfully cleaned up 5 pieces of equipment. Brutal business, man. I'm surprised Lavaspur Boots is still chilling over here at that point. They know that we have the potential of giving haste, so they are keeping the Nightmare back as a chump blocker, I suppose. But they could have threatened lethal with the full swing, but I guess... Oh, they can still do that. They have the Fountain Port to make a fish, but now we have a blocker. Never mind. Oh, man. Hey, I started this game. I asked for it, man, because I said, ew. I asked for it at that point. Good game, opponent. Good game. That's really funny. I gotta be real with you guys. If they missed the pulses, maybe we would have been in that. And maybe we actually could have made the opponent sweat a little bit. Probably not, because if they missed the pulses, it probably would have just been other spot removal, right? They had that Sheoldred's Edict in hand. Who knows how long they actually had that. So yeah, I think we would have gotten picked apart regardless. But that being said, I don't think that the deck list is performing poorly right now. I think the draws overall have been pretty decent. Seems to have an all right curve. So I'm gaining a little bit of confidence with the build in from those first games. No Leyline Axe this time round, but this is a pretty darn good hand, right? We keep this. And we start with Vantages, of course. So if we have to remove something, okay, well, it's not going to be Chainsaw. So we're going to go Halberd for the turn. And the other Halberd is actually a really good draw, I would say, because we can give it haste with the Lavaspur Boots. And that's 3 equipment on the board already, which is kind of no joke. Builder's Talent. Oh. Swiftfoot Boots, not bad. Options with Chainsaw. We're gonna stick to the plan though. Halberd, give it haste. Full swing. They block pretty well, but we get 2 through on the other guy. I think that does matter. So I'm concerned about what the opponent's playing though. So mono white mid-range would be devastating, but cards like Sunfall don't pick up the equipment, so there's a good chance that they drop some board wipes and we just end up keeping a bunch of equipment down here, and then our top decks into Affinity would be pretty darn decent. Okay, Carrot Cake. They got this to level 2, so whenever one or more non-creature, non-land permanents you control enter, they get a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. A 5/1 Defender's pretty good, man. That's not bad, opponent. Bladehold War-Whip. That's really good. Man, yeah, the draws have been good. All right, get the Bladehold down. Give it haste. Has double strike. They can double block successfully into... Well, no, they can't. Yeah, never mind. We just got to make sure we deal damage to the bunny rabbit first. First strike and double strike on all of these. They go for the chump on the double strike. Makes a lot of sense. So we are able to slip 2 more through for the turn. We'll keep the ward on the rebel that actually has the Bladehold, of course. Now, if they find removal for our double strike, if we get to keep Bladehold around... Wow, first board wipe is a very effective board wipe from the opponent. Oh my goodness, bro. Right, we still have a great turn here. So, Swiftfoot Boots. We're going to want to give Hex proof to this for sure. Chainsaw also kind of sort of works. It makes their block much worse, but I think we're going to find better removal. And just going full Hex proof instead of just ward is going to be pretty important here. But we want to put these both on to maximize damage. And I'll tell you what. 5th mana off the top would be decent. But then also, if we're going to run into another board wipe next turn, they do go for the block. They take 3 down to 13. And if we're going to run into another board wipe, we need to see more of our creatures too. And this is one of those moments where I can say why we have the 2 Restless Bivouac in here too. Enduring Innocence, that's not a board wipe, huh? That's great news. So mana off the top, maybe we can give double strike to this finisher. Okay, they get some card draw off the Enduring Innocence. Even if we don't see mana though, we do see mana. I was going to say, even if we don't, just going Chainsaw. Actually, Chainsaw could still be really good. Chainsaw pop the Enduring Innocence. They won't get life gain from the swing. They still won't get life gain from the swing with the double strike, though. Chainsaw does seem pretty good here. I'm pretty sure it's just double strike, though, right? forcing a block for sure. They want to block maybe with the 1/1, keep the Innocence, because the Innocence isn't going to gain them any life here. But Innocence does come back as the enchantment. However, they go for the double block. Okay. Yeah, no life gain. The opponent's going down to 2. Enduring Innocence comes back as an enchantment. Well, it's too bad Chainsaw doesn't say any target, but boy, that would be a broken card, huh? 3 damage to any target. It's just like, it's an equipment, but it's also Lightning Strike. Could you guys imagine? Now, Chainsaw's 3 damage to target creature. And Green Evangelist, guys, they missed the board wipe. Let's go, man. Well, let's see what they draw. It could be another split up. I am on the edge of my seat, though. Temporary lockdown would be pretty good for them, too. It doesn't pick up the finisher, but it does take away the Lavaspur Boots, Swiftfoot Boots, both Halberds. Regal Bunnycorn is friggin' excellent for the opponent. Holy cow. Barbed Batterfist. But yeah, luckily we have Chainsaw. We'll clean up the, GG opponent. We're going to completely play it out regardless because they had an untapped white source there. So I don't know what it could have been. It could have been like 1 mana gain some life somehow, right? I don't know what that card would be right now. Chainsaw, equip Chainsaw for... we're going to pop the bat over the Evangelist because Evangelist would have just turned into a bat, which means more blockers for the opponent. So pop the bat with the Chainsaw, goes up to 1. Equip Chainsaw, boosts the finisher to 9/5, double strike, trample, hexproof. Haste, ward 1. Not like the ward 1 matters after you have hexproof, but still. Yeah, even if that 1 mana, I don't know what that 1 mana could have been, but they would have had to gain way too much life since we had the double strike actually down. For real. Guys, let's keep the ball rolling. I don't know if we can roll it into more victories, but I'm pretty satisfied with those first 3 games. How about you? While I have you here in the middle of the video, guys, make sure you check out that description. We do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Then also for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well because it really does help out the channel. So thank you, thank you. All right, got all that out of the way right before the next game. I see no reason not to try this other than the fact that I'm a little sad that we're not seeing our Leyline Axe right now. Vantage and Blacksmith's talent's pretty good to start with. Lavaspur Boots is too, of course, but I'm just going to get the Blacksmith's talent down. We could just double down on Lavaspur Boots next turn. Maybe we can get this Nahiri pretty cheap. Slickshot Show-Off is ready. Okay. Getting a creature down now could be pretty decent, of course. Nah. Nah, we're in danger either way, guys. They went first. That's pretty good turn 1, turn 2, because the setup for 3 here is what's significant. Actually, I bet we could die. I bet we could. Like 2 Monstrous Rage, 1 onto the hero, 1 onto the show-off, and then throw the show-off, or throw the hero. It doesn't really matter, right? Well, yeah, it does matter. Throwing the hero because you want it to die. But it would still be such a significant chunk of damage that our turn 3 wouldn't look like too much else anyways. Huh, they're actually just... It was still sticking there, right? Oh, they do go for the throw for the turn. So we got lucky only going down to 1. Yeah, look at that. Still have Verge open. There it is. It's a shock. So they actually... They could have shocked before combat, too. To give an extra couple to the Slickshot Show-Off. Guys, it's going to happen sometimes. We only had 2 turns. They went first. It is what it is. You know what we've been seeing a lot more recently is actually the Gruul version of this. I don't know why we stopped seeing it for so long. It's one of those things, dude. Same thing with Slick Shot Show Off. It like fell off the map for some reason. It had no reason to fall off the map. It's still incredible, as we saw there, especially. So in our hand, the best chance of survival would have been by somehow keeping open instant speed removal, which would have been an why can't I think of what it's called? Ah, there it is, Rebel Salvo, because we already had the equipment on board. So it would have been 2 mana. If we had it, we potentially could have survived the turn by popping like the show off. All right, we go first. Good hand. The hands have been clean, actually. What's up with that? Iron Claw. Okay, good thing we went first here, man. All right, let's get a creature down, and it's an effective creature. However, Hired Claw is still going to get through once they drop their second mana. We're not going to block into a 2/3 because they can always power up the bottom ability on the Hired Claw. Excuse me, guys. All right, Emberheart Challenger, nice. Now we just have a good blocker, right? And I would trade into that Challenger all day. Oh, buddy, give me that trade. Yes. Okay. Bladehold War-Whip. That's pretty good. I'll play that. Yep, the draws have been good. Like, what's going on, man? We land on something like maybe a little bit. I was way too hard on the deck list. So far, at least. It feels like I was way too hard at the beginning, calling it super duper janky. But we'll see, we'll see. I still might be right. I'm probably still right. It's probably still janky, but I don't know. It's kind of like, it's like doing the thing, kind of, sort of. Now that they don't have 2 open, we can block the Hired Claw successfully. Might just be burn, though, for the 2/2. It is. It's going to be a shock, then they get the swing. What's great here, guys, this is actually just really good, being able to keep these equipments around. Nahiri gets cheaper and cheaper as time goes on. 4 mana Nahiri isn't bad, but I think we just take the turn for some setup. Yeah, we take the turn for setup. I'm not even going to try to remove the Manifold Mouse right now. We're far enough into the game. We could go for the swing, but I think I want to keep this as a blocker. The goal here is a surprise Nahiri next turn. Yeah, we want to keep it as a blocker. It loses first strike and trample on their turn. Not like it needs trample on their turn, but it does lose the first strike, so it's just going to be a chump. But what's significant here is it's not getting burnt away, first of all. And second of all, we're not losing the equipments. That's the significance. Okay, they poke another one through. So we chump the Manifold Mouse. Oh, Monstrous Rage. Rough business, man. That's a lot of damage. It's more. I'm on the edge of my seat, opponent. Okay. We're in danger. We're in danger now. That's my fault. I probably should have opted for Rebel Salvo. But we still have Rebel Salvo, but you know, Astor is pretty good because equipment you control have equip 1. We can just plug all the equipment right onto Astor. But no, we like this turn for sure. We have to go Rebel Salvo onto the Manifold Mouse. Down to 7. That's our only white source on the board, man. All right. So whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, start by Swiftfoot Boots, right? What do you guys think? Do we swing? We do have 2 for the Halberd, if we wanted to. I think we keep the blocker, Rebel Salvo, on our turn, because if we pass it back, they could find a way to boost this Manifold Mouse above the 5. But right now, with just the 1 mana, I'd be shocked if they're able to boost the Manifold Mouse past the 5 damage, right? I don't know what that would even be, what that would entail. Okay. You know, the way they were looking at that, I'm guessing it's going to be like Manifest Dread style ability. I'm sorry, Nahiri, but you unfortunately have to be a blocker. The opponent's last turn was way too good. And again, it's my fault for not just opting for the salvo on the double strike creature. Yeah, Rock-Face Village boosting the Hired Claw. This is going to be a really rough block because I really want to see Nahiri do something today, but I think we have to. Ah, man. Hopefully it's just a trade still. However, yeah, turn inside out, Manifest Dread. They still have a creature on the board. Trades our great creature into their great creature, I guess. At that point, it is a great creature. Oh, Monstrous Rage is worse than the Manifest Dread. It's still a trade, though. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right, Astor, let's see what we see. Down to 3. It's very dangerous to go down to 3. Chainsaw. All right, that'll come in handy. And now we equip. And we equip. And we equip. And then we don't have 5 for the Bladehold War-Whip yet, but oh, it just cost 1 to equip anyways. What am I saying? Yeah. So, Hexproof, Haste, First Strike, Trample. We just have to keep a blocker. Unfortunately, guys, because there's a lot of hasty creatures packed in. Ways to give haste. Rock-Face Village is on the board. Oh, we're dead. Darn it, guys. Darn it. Well, wait a minute. They might miss what's in hand. Oh, no. Never mind. Never mind. We're literally dead here. Because it, yeah, good game, opponent. Ah, brutal. I could have played that out much better. The main thing that I'm fixed on right now was risking that turn for the setup and not just going the Rebel Salvo right away on their double strike manifold mouse, right? So for a second, I was thinking, oh, it's just going to be 2. Maybe we'll survive. It'll go down to 1, right? But no, yes, the extra counter also counts. And then the Rock-Face Village also boosts +1/+0. So it was going to be 3 regardless. We could have had some fun swings potentially. If the top card that we saw off of Nahiri was the Chainsaw, then that could have been pretty significant. But if we would have swung that with that too, we also would have lost that turn anyways, right? We needed the blocker on the board. I think that one came down to me, but also it's going to be a pretty tough match. Just in general, whatever deck list you're playing, when you're up against those super aggro builds, those Heartfire hero style deck lists, man, it's going to be rough. Pretty much no matter what, especially if you're not specifically playing closer to control style deck lists with a lot of early removal and stuff, you know? All right. This is our first mulligan. We can find something better. Let's see if we can find some of those Leyline Axe too. Hey, there's one. All right. I'm going to send the Astor. No white source in hand. We don't need it right now. So let's see what we can get done here. See if we can find some of our affinity cards as well. Ruckus Theater. Okay. All right. Yep. Hexgold Halberd. I was thinking about, do we wait for turn 3 so that way we can at the very least give it ward, give it haste? Probably not, because at this point too, we're going to be out of cards on the board in a second, so we're going to be top decking anyways. Oh, buddy, Oculus in the Grave, some Grixis Reanimator. I don't know if we've seen Grixis in a while, dude. Barbed Batterfist is pretty darn good, man. Yeah. Oh, perfect blocker for it, though. Huh. We still play it all, though, I think, right? Instead of, yeah, we let them, wait. How did I want to do this? Crap. I did this out of order. But giving ward to the Rebel then, and then swinging with the 2/1, then they pop this instead. Swing here, they pop that. Crap. Mistakes were made, man. Mistakes were made. So what we're opting for is keeping the 4-1 alive thanks to the ward. But what should have happened was probably just a swing with the Rebel Salvo, play the, Lavaspur Boots onto the Rebel Salvo, right? To boost the damage going through, swing with it, then play Barbed Batterfist after the swing, because when Vermin dies, it deals -1/-1. Uh-oh, no one left behind. Yeah, there's a card you don't see very often, guys. That's pretty clean with the Oculus. So it costs 3 less to cast if it targets a creature card with mana value 3 or less. We're in danger. Like, big time in danger. Mana. Lavaspur Boots, but we're just gonna go Leyline Axe, I think. Double Strike Trample onto the 4-1 isn't terrible, but that's definitely... They got the one for the ward now. Definitely the one they pop with the Vermin. And we'll have to re-equip it next turn. Dude, we're in danger either way. I don't know what we could... Oh, hey. Good news, guys. Leyline also gives +1/+1. I read my cards once before. It was a terrible time, so I stopped reading them. No, yeah, I was thinking it was just going to be a 4-1 Double Strike Trample. Leyline does give that +1/+1, which is really significant here. They're going to take the damage. Wow, that's huge for us, man. Let's see what we can pull off next turn. There's a chance that we could stack this Rebel enough to push through. Right, 3 mana with the Leyline, get it to a 3/3 Double Strike Trample. They go Bitter, they got to pay the extra ward. They're tapped out here. Get to keep all the equipment around. Oculus is going to manifest Dread, though, so they're still going to be pretty stacked overall. Inspiring Vantage, going to be tapped, unfortunately, but I don't think it mattered too much outside of getting the other Lavaspur Boots down. I'm pretty sure we're going to be forced into a swing this turn, because if we let them establish anything further, we're going to just be further and further away from actually winning, right? So we go all in once again. How much does this get? A +1. Okay. Yeah, it's much better to give it ward as well then. All right. Double Strike Trample, great blocks from the opponent, and it is going to be trades this time. Oculus especially needs to block here. They go all in, makes a lot of sense, I would say. So we want to not kill the Vermin, kill one of the face down cards, 2 there, then the next strike will take care of Vermin and Oculus. I guess it doesn't matter the order that we kill the Vermin since we have Ward 1 on here anyways. It's going to die to the second strike too. I guess it doesn't matter, right? I can't see an order there that actually matters. All right. We are cleaning stuff up pretty nicely, though. The opponent just had too many blockers on the board. Now, we need to see a good creature off the top, see if we can give it haste and see what we can clean up. Souls of the Lost. Oh. I guess we chose the wrong face down card, guys. Oh. Holy cow. Opponent. We're on a clock now. Oh, it's just a Leyline Axe anyways. Okay, well, it didn't matter, but wow. I was going to say, I guess we really chose the wrong face down card. Hey, good game, opponent. That's pretty sick, man. I really like your Grixis list. Actually, I love this Grixis list. Really cool. Did I drop him the GGs, or was I just thinking about dropping him the GGs? They get the emote. Really neat list. Guys, deck win rate, 33%. That's honestly, dude, about right. But I don't know. There's something fun here for equipment. But seriously, man, it's like I said at the beginning. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be janky in general. But it did the thing that it was supposed to be doing, and that is getting a bunch of equipments on the board, getting some really cheap value creatures down, giving them haste for free sometimes. This was neat, man. This was cool. Let's go over the deck list again. About 40 minutes into the video. I don't know if we could actually end on a high note is the thing. So I don't want to push it overtime and then just get another loss, right? Because I think we showcased the deck list well enough. Guys, look at this. My 4th Niv Mizzet Visionary. I just got done playing this deck list for yesterday's video. It melted my brain. So yeah, that was a fun one though. It only had 2 in there, and I only had 3 total. I probably should have played with 3 because we actually didn't see the Niv Mizzet, but that's besides the point, guys. What about this deck list? The Oxidda Finisher, or like I said, however the heck we pronounce that. Let's just call it Finisher from now on, I suppose. Cool, man. I liked this a lot. It's so silly, man. The whole deck list is actually really silly, but Affinity is a good ability, right? But they price these high enough so that way they're not incredibly broken. If this was 6 mana, maybe more people would try out equipment. Maybe. 7 mana is still pretty steep, so you still need a lot of equipment on the board to get this cheap enough for this deck list in particular. Oh, buddy, is it worth it? Heck yeah, all 4 of them. I mean, that's what the deck list was built around. Nahiri, 3 of them. Legendary creature, you don't want 4 of them. It's a mythic that you're not going to see outside of equipments. So if you're not playing equipments, this is just not worth the craft at all. Which brings me to, is this one to put on the do not craft list? Absolutely, dude. Do not craft this one. Don't even put it on the list where you crafted a little bit less based on your collection. This one also belongs on the list. Is this the 3rd deck list this week that I'm putting this on? Anyways, this belongs on the list of decks where you don't craft anything. And if you're really desperate to play it, you just have to completely base it on what you own. And that's it, right? Just completely trade out based on your collection. If you're having trouble trading out based on your collection, it wasn't meant to be, right? Go find another deck list. But for real, man, I do think it's going to be that janky. I think if we played like another 5, 6, however many games we played, I think the deck win rate would stay the same. That being said, man, I'm being way too hard on it too. It's not all about victories. Sometimes it is just about fun, and this was pretty fun. It was neat, especially when it was doing the thing, but winning's also fun too. So getting completely picked apart every other game by the opponents is going to be miserable at some point after the 40th game, you know? All for Leyline Axe. I got more builds ready with Leyline Axe. This is a really neat card. Starting the game with an artifact on the board. Really cool, man. Starting the game with an equipment on the board for the affinity. Really cool, man. Yeah. The one of Astor is probably worthwhile in here too. Again, though, don't get any of my words wrong, right? This is still the do not craft list. So if you don't have the Astor and you're looking for trade outs and you're not crafting anything, okay, you're not crafting anything for this one, then you could drop the Astor easily, and just go up something else, something budget friendly. Rebel Salvo. It's going to be worthwhile. Actually, 3 of these is something I would consider right here, right now. But I'm personally not going to trade anything out anyways. Kadeen also just made the cut as a one of another legendary creature. It could also just be a Rebel Salvo, right? Maybe you pulled 4 chainsaws out of packs when you cracked the Duskmourn packs, right? You got 4 of these just laying around and you're like, what the heck am I going to do with these chainsaws? Here you go. There's your trade-ins, right? No, Chainsaw's decent, dude. I like it a lot. We played it in like Big Red and stuff, Big Red artifacts. It actually, like, it has its place in certain builds. Equipment is going to be another one of those places. Now, again, being really hard on the deck list, you know, putting it on the never craft list, don't craft anything list. I don't know what to call my lists half the time. But there's some budget-friendly things, right? Uncommon talent, uncommon boots, uncommon halberd, common batterfist, okay, rare, uncommon salvo, uncommon bladehold, rare, uncommon finisher, and mythic. So, you know, relatively budget friendly. And then the mana base, of course. But the nice thing about mana bases is they can be used elsewhere too. So I guess we could put the rares over here. Guys, recently in Arena, I don't know if it's my mouse. I don't think it's my mouse. let me know in the comments, have you been like moving cards around and they've just been flying all over the place or not moving where you want them? Now I can't do it. Now I can't get it to work. But I've been having an issue in Arena with moving my cards around and they just like are bugging out, flying all over the place where you don't want them to go. But anyways, that's besides the point again, guys. What about the deck list? Surprised by how budget friendly it actually is, but it's not really, because if you are on a budget too, uncommons go really fast. So there's a lot of uncommons. They really do dwindle down quite fast. So yeah, this was cool, man, but but very janky. But I'm it's one of those janky lists that I'm actually sad that we couldn't have pulled off a little bit more because of how cool it actually is, right? There's going to be so many games, actually, where I think we can get that finisher to 3 mana successfully, equip it with haste, and then just really put the pressure on the opponent, especially if you equip it with haste that has hexproof too, like the Swiftfoot Boots, for example. That's going to be crazy stuff, because at that point, the opponent's desperate for a board wipe. But if you did it fast enough, or you're up against a deck list that doesn't have a board wipe, you know what could be pretty decent for this deck list as well? Some lifelink. I don't know what the lifelink would look like. Maybe like a Sheltered by Ghost, but it doesn't fit the equipment theme at all. It doesn't fit the affinity theme at all, right? Sheltered by Ghost is good removal, and the lifelink would really come in handy against some of those aggro matches that we actually saw today too. I don't think there's any lifelink equipments, right? I don't think so. Here's what we got when I put lifelink and I put enchantment. Jeez, bro. Artifact. There we go. Justicar, okay, has lifelink. Steel Seraph, just an artifact. Oh, Basilisk Collar, huh? There we go. Maybe. Actually, should have made the honorable mentions. Dissection Tools, a little bit too expensive for what this deck list is doing. You're never going to sacrifice a creature either, or want to sacrifice a creature. Basilisk Collar. Huh. It must be a reprint, guys. You see I have an older version there. It must be probably Foundations then at that point, because I completely overlooked this. Equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink equipped for 2. 2's pretty expensive. Death Touch could really come in handy. Lifelink. Death Touch on first strike creatures really comes in handy. Dude, this should have made the cut. As something, as a 1 of or something, and maybe a 2 of at that point too. Maybe, what would we drop? Blacksmith's Talent down to 3. And the Kadeen maybe go up 2 collars. I don't like that much. As the deck list is right now with our 1-ofs, it actually looks pretty clean, and it was drawing pretty well too, and the opening hands was pretty good too, so that's tough, dude. I don't know what you drop for this, but Basilisk Collar, one to keep an eye on, I suppose, right? And again, I'm talking like people are going to put this one together. It's on the do not craft list. Okay, enough of that, right? Yeah, broken record. Enough rambling. Guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.